Reeh, Anochi nosin lefnechem hayom brocho klodo. The parsha doesn't begin Anochi nosin lefnechem brocho klodo. Reeh. You should see. Seeing is another level of understanding. I'm presenting before you today blessing and curse. Es a brocho. What is the brocho? Asher tishmu el mitzvos Hashem Elokechem, asher anochi mitzaveschem hayom. It's interesting. You know, there's two things. There's heeding. Heeding has a double connotation. You have to listen. There's listening to do. I hear what you're saying. Es a brocho tishmu el mitzvos Hashem Elokechem. A person should have the capacity when you listen to appreciate what you hear. If you appreciate the value of what you hear, then you'll do it. What is the brocha? The brocha is not only the doing, esher tishmu el mitzvos Hashem Elokechem. Now, some people are blessed. You tell them to do the right thing, they do the right thing. Other people, you could talk to them for Teddy forever. We hear what you're saying. But somehow, for some reason, it never comes to fruition. The brocha is asher tishmu. That is the brocha. Asher tishmu mitzvah Hashem Elokechem. To have the capacity to hear it, to heed it. Asher nochi mitzaveschem hayom. To fulfill it. To fill the mitzvah. Rashi. Reeh anochi nosin brocha klolo hamuros bar grizim harevol. So again, what do you need the Reeh? I mean, according to Rashi, the Reeh seems to be superfluous, correct? If it was speaking about the brochs har gris and har evil, it should say, Anochi lefnech mayom brochu klodo. And what's the brocha? Asher tishmu. Right? What do we? The word to Reeh is totally superfluous. We're just going. I'm present for the brocha and klo, which is har gris and har evil. What's the Reeh? No. And Stanford, what do we need? What relevance to clarity? It says in second row, as a brocha shetishmu. The brocha says shetishmu. So what's the Reeh? It's factually. We're going to stand two mountains, brocha klodo, half close on each mountain, levim in between the mountains. We're going to hear what's going to be said. Baruch and Oru. I mean, what's the Reeh? No, but it's not the kappa. This is not the kappa. This is pre that. Pre. Everything in life needs preparation. You need preparation. Unless you prepare for something, when it happens, although you understand what's happening, the way you're going to deal with that is not the same that if initially you prepared for what was going to happen. I'll give you an example. I heard a story from Rabbi Aaron, his oldest grandson. Rabbi Aaron, when he came from Russia, he went through Vladivostok, he went to Kobe, and from Kobe he came to the United States. He didn't go on to Shanghai, even though he wasn't with the Mir Yeshiva. He had a visa there. From Kobe, he had a visa to come to the United States. So the emperor of Japan, Kobe's Japan, was a deity, the emperor. What was the Hirohito? So, said deity, they worshipped him. They would worship him. So Rabbi Aaron's walking with one of his students down the street in Kobe. All of a sudden he hears people running and rushing and screaming, the emperor's coming. So everybody immediately throws themselves on the ground. You have to prostrate yourself. The emperor's coming. Rabbi Aaron doesn't. So the Bachar who was with him threw himself down immediately. Rabbi Aaron stood up erectly, did not throw himself down. The police come and they see him standing. They start beating him with truncheons and start kicking him. That literally he was bruised and bleeding. He was nearly unconscious. Till finally they just left him. And after it passed, he got up. He barely could move, Rabbi Aaron. The first thing he said to the Bacha was, how did you throw yourself to the ground? Yargo Yavor. comes to idolatry, you have to give your life. How did you throw yourself to the ground? That's the first question he asked. He barely could get up, but that's the first question he asked the Bachar that was with him. What do you see from that? When you say the Kriya Shema, it's cited in Svarim, based on the Zohar, there's a posuk, David HaMelech says, Olecho ragnu kol hayom. David says, for you we die, we're killed every day. Jews are killed throughout history every day. That's simply what it means. But the Zohar says that Olecho ragnu kol hayom, the Seit V'Shesh Avoda brings this, and the Ramchal speaks about this, that when we say in Kriya Shema chol nafshecho, if you envision in your mind that if it should present itself, that you're given a choice to live or die for Hashem, to give your life, and you, in your mind, you make that level of commitment, Hashem values it as if you gave your life. So that's Olecho Ragnu Kol Hayom. The Ramchal doesn't bring the pasuk. So Sheshuvah cites the pasuk. That's me. We die for you. A Jew, if you're sincere, only Hashem knows the sincerity of one's heart. A person can die endless times throughout his life. Al Kiddush Hashem, Hashem values as if you gave your life. That's Olecho Ragnu Kol Hayom. So if a person continuously throughout his life envisions this type of situation, so therefore when it presents itself, something you've been through it many times. You're not taken by surprise. Rabbaran throughout his life, he lived that. That if the moment should ever present itself, he's not bowing. So therefore when all of a sudden they start screaming, the emperor, he's not bowing. Because he already in his mind went through this, the emperor. He's not bowing. The other person, because he didn't have that level of preparation, so all of a sudden you're startled. What do? What's your first reaction? You throw yourself to the ground because he didn't have that level of preparation. Even if you hear the bracha and klolo, if initially it's Reeh, you understand what's coming down the pike, so to say. Reeh anochnos lefnechem bracha, we're going to our Grizim, there's going to be bracha and klolo. And you understand what that's going to be. Then it's a bracha tishmun. So when you hear it, when you actually hear it, you hear it differently. Because you've contemplated what's going to happen afterwards. That's why the Torah uses Re'eh. You should know, you should have that level of clarity in advance what's going to be, what you're going to experience. It's told over a story. No, that's a separate discussion. That's a separate discussion. Because every person's on a different level. So that's why it's in the singular. Okay? There's a story, Chaim Volozhiner was the closest student, the most special Talmud of the Vilna Gaon. And Chaim Volozhiner was in Volozhin. There was a town, small village in Lithuania. The Vilna Gaon was still alive. He was in Vilna. He hadn't seen his Rebbe for maybe half a year. So he had his son with him. His name was Rev Itzel Volozhiner. He became the Rosh Hashiva afterwards, after his father passed away in Volozhin. So when he was 10 years old, I once mentioned this, he says to his father, when are we going to see the Rebbe? Although he knew the Vilna was special and this and that, and when he was 10 years old, he was already very special, the son of Reb Chaim Volozhiner. And when he asked that question to his father, when are we going to see the Rebbe? His father started to tremble. His father started to tremble. If you'd be standing in the presence of Hashem, he would tremble, right? So just if the Hashem L'Kechatiro, the Rabbis Talmid Chachomim, Rav Chaim Volozhiner, where he internalized what his Rebbe was, he started to tremble. His 10-year-old son didn't tremble. He says, so when are we going to go see the Rebbe? Okay? So what you understand, because Rav Chaim Volozhiner was a whole different understanding. They both, Vilna Gaon especially knows Kol HaTorah Kulo, he's a malach. You can call him whatever you want. But if you don't know what a malach is, and you say, I hear, it's pretty interesting. Now, he looks pretty holy. The question is, do you have any relevance to even process what that is? If you have any relevance, then you tremble. If you don't have the capacity, then you don't tremble. So it's all based on the contemplation, the preparation, what you think in advance. Then when you come upon it, it's a whole different experience. Okay, let's see the Maral. So we wouldn't get too far. Reeh. Got to open your eyes, Moshe. You say Reeh, and you understand what's at the end of the parsha. You understand what the beginning, then you understand what's the end of the parsha. Seeing is sees from one end of the world to the other. Seeing is fact. It's like I said it one time. I'll give you an example. When we were brought up, the world was a different world. Different world. Speak about homosexuality, right? You don't have to understand that it's a perversion. Today they call it an alternate lifestyle. Either you like it, you don't like it, but because we're Jews, we reject it. It's not intellectual. It's gut. It's a gut reaction. You know, somebody wants to serve you a plate of human feces. Is there a question? You have to understand what it is. You understand? That's when we were brought up. That's what it is. It is that. It's worse than that. Okay? So there's no way even to consider justifying or considering there's no rationalization on it. It's unacceptable. There's certain things which are unacceptable. Today, it's a whole different world because it's a different level of exposure. So kids who grow up in this world and they have this, I hear the Torah says you're not permitted, but what, when? Okay, it's a whole different thing. That's seeing and understanding. It's a whole different thing. You know, somebody, Moshe Feinstein, said years ago, there used to be people who were married in the 50s, in the early 60s. There was a place called Broadway Central Hotel. Broadway Central, famous, all the religious weddings were there, most of them. And it's not far by car. It's 10 minutes from his house. There was always people inside of Dushin. So at every wedding, when do you daven Ma'ariv? Right after the chuppah, you daven Ma'ariv. So Moshe would only come for the chuppah and leave. So he'd need his coat. So the driver was in a rush. So he says to Moshe was waiting till after Ma'ariv to get his coat because he didn't want to walk in front of the people who were in the middle of Shemona Esrei. The halacha is, person, you're not permitted to walk. So the driver says to him, he says, and if you walk in front of the person, we're in a rush, that. So he says to him, I'm mentioning, he says, if you have a brick wall, and you tell me to walk through the brick wall, could you walk through a brick wall? Can't walk through a brick wall. You tell me to walk through it. The halacha says you're not permitted. What do you mean it's okay? How could the wall, could you go through a brick wall? You understand? That was halacha to Rav Moshe Feinstein. It's not, I understand, it's not permitted, but when, therefore, this is an overriding factor. If the halacha doesn't justify it, there's no overriding factor. You got the brick wall there. Okay?